Harris. Ms McKelvie, please.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. Presiding Officer, when are we going to live in a world where you don't need to have International Women's Day? Why do we need to, in this futuristic 21st century, still fight for equality, parity and recognition? Well, the reason we do need to stand together, because for many women there is no equality, no parity and no recognition. Presiding Officer, we live in a world where a girl with a book who seeks an education gets a bullet in her head because men are afraid of her femininity. The power of an educated woman terrifies the patriarchy. And Malala Yousafzai tells us that we cannot all succeed if half of us are held back. Presiding Officer, she is correct. A world that still thinks it's okay to use physical punishment and coercive control on wives and partners, and not so honourable honour-based violence, forced marriage and FGM. Today, 63 million girls of school age do not get an education in this modern world. Not very modern, is it? Presiding Officer, UNICEF tells us that girls' education is both an intrinsic right and a critical lever to reaching other development objectives. Providing girls with an education helps break the cycle of poverty. Educated women are less likely to marry early and against their will, and less likely to die in childbirth, more likely to have healthy babies, and are more likely to send their children to school. When all children have access to a quality education rooted in human rights and gender equality, it creates a ripple effect of opportunity that influences generations to come. So again, I ask the question, why do we in this digital futuristic world still have gender imbalance and inequality? Why do we have in this modern UK welfare reforms that have had a catastrophic detrimental effect on 86% of all female claimants? Why do we have a South Lanarkshire Labour-controlled council and many more councils, the shame of them, spending millions of pounds fighting against giving women equal pay? Why? Because for all of the talk, some of the politicians in this place, not all of them, that's all it is talk, and that needs to change. Presiding Officer, I didn't hear any of them talk up when Philip Davis MP attempted to filibuster Ailey Whiteford's bill on domestic violence, or when he described women as militant feminists. I heard no voices against him. And how very dare we seek that equality? So spare me the fake indignation when it comes to some of the things that people have got to say. Why is it important that we stand, that we raise our voices, become activists, march and campaign? Presiding Officer, I agree with Martina Navratilova when she says that the key for women is not to set any limits. I'd add that we should not let others set limits for us. That's why it's important. It's been important because those of us who have some success have a duty to not pull up the ladder, but to give a hand up to those other women. And Madeleine Albright also reminds us that there is a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And again, Presiding Officer, I ask why it's important, because we have such a long way to go. And it feels that in some senses we are going backwards, especially when we have male MPs barking at female MPs in the so-called mother of all parliaments. And when we have a leader of the free world freely admit to physical, sexual assault on women and passing it off as just locker room banter. That's why it's important. His actions and frankly misogynistic talk has given permission to many in the patriarchy to hark back to what we thought was a bygone age, when assaulting, insulting and body-shaming women was just a bit of fun or some locker room talk. Well, it's not, and it's not acceptable, and it's not tolerable, and we're not going to put up with it. And to highlight Trump's disgusting remarks, women across the world are taking part in the Pussy Hat Global Project. They want to share, declare and wear their feminism, and why shouldn't they? They intend to show that feminism and solidarity across the globe by wearing pink knitted hats. Only with solidarity, resilience, commitment and passion will we make this nation, this UK and yes, this world a better place for women and girls, where they feel safe, educated, valued and most importantly of all, equal. That's why we need this annual UN International Women's Day. That's why we must continue to fight. That's why we should never stand down or shut up or not take the positions that we take. We need to raise our voice. And that's why I stand here today, Presiding Officer, wearing my pussy hat, with your indulgence, with my many sisters around the world, declaring my oath that I will always stand for that equality, parity and recognition that we all deserve. Presiding Officer, indulge me to be bold for change.
I
will
do, but
share,
can I ask
declare
you...
and wear my feminism
Ms McKelvie,
with pride.
Ms McKelvie,
Who's with me?
Ms McKelvie,
I'm done.
naughty, naughty. Props are not allowed in the chamber. This occasion it's passing by, but I do not encourage any props in the chamber from anyone. I now move on, please, to Alison Harris, to be followed by Claire Adamson. Ms Harris, please.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. I'm delighted to speak in this debate. International Women's Day, a day that is not of the